to do. Treat it like a business. It'll reward you like a business. And that's what I did. And I worked so hard. I've never worked harder on anything in my entire life than this. And it definitely is not easy for me. And it didn't happen by luck or by chance, but just because I was so committed and had such a crystal clear vision that I knew where I was going with this, that I sat down every single day and I worked on this. And finally, after sitting down and working on this and, really just believing in myself and in the company and looking at these other leaders and thinking, if they can do it, I can do it. Like, this is awesome. All these things that are possible with this, like, that's where I need to be. It's happening. And that was the mindset that I had. And it was at my 7-month mark, I was able to, when I was earning, matched my teacher salary that I had when I left my 8-year teaching career. And my 1-year mark, I was earning 6 figures. By 15 months in, I was able to completely pay off all of the rest of that $35,000 of credit card debt. Thank God. So we have no more of that debt. And now we've been able to build a growing savings account since then. And I'm out earning my husband, and we have plans to sell our house and move to Hawaii and bring my parents with us. And just all kinds of things, guys, on the horizon that haven't even happened yet, but I know that they're going to happen because I believe in myself and in this so much, just like you guys can all do as well. So that was just a little bit about me. I'm sure you guys heard all the accolades and all that stuff. I love my team. My team is awesome. And anyways, thanks for having me, guys. I hope Joan's on now. I can't see her.
I'm here. I'm here. Thank you for starting without me. We have so many questions that people posted in the team page today for you. So do you want me to start there or with the list that I sent earlier? Probably this.
No, it doesn't matter.
All right, cool. I didn't
Whatever
think
you want to do.
All right. So coming from Lindsay, she said, when you first started, what was your approach versus now? So I guess, has anything changed, or what do you do differently, or what do you still do?
That's the thing, guys. It really does. Like, from the beginning, I started inviting to challenge groups. The night that I became a coach, I was 35 pounds heavier. I actually had a bad experience with Shakeology in the past. So I didn't really have too much going for me because I was, overweight, not feeling good about myself, kind of not even thinking I was going to even like the Shakeology. How the heck am I going to even do this? And I remember being on the phone with my coach asking her, so now that I'm a coach, now what do I do? And she's like, just kind of lay low. Don't expect much to happen the first few weeks. And I hung up the phone and I was like, I don't have time to lay low. Like, this has to happen, and this has to happen now. Like, we are in deep trouble over here. So I started inviting that night to a challenge group. I didn't know what the heck a challenge group was, guys, but I simply just messaged all of my friends and told them that I was going to be starting a 21-day support and accountability group, and that I had 35 pounds I wanted to lose after having my kids, and I'm looking for women who want to do this with me. Do you want to do it with me? And so I did the 3 vital behaviors. I mean, it sounds basic, guys, but I think that is really where coaches go wrong in this business, and why they either plateau or go backwards, is because after being in it for a while, you tend to get away from that, and you can never get away from that. It has to be the 3 vital behaviors all the time. So that was something that I did every day right from the beginning, and still do now. The only thing that I do differently is that I didn't do like the first probably 10 months as a coach, was that I never really talked consistently enough on social media about coaching. So now I always tell my coaches to, make sure that they have a list of all the reasons of why they became a coach, a list of all the things they love about coaching, a list of all the objections that they had of why they didn't think that they could be a good coach. When I first heard about it, I was like, there's no way that I have time for this. I have a 4-month-old at home, a 22-month-old at home. I'm not getting any sleep at night. I can't do this. I'm not even in great shape right now. No one's going to look at me as a coach. All those reasons that you had and objections and fears that you had, write them down. And then any other objections that you get from people. So you have this all these different lists and all these things. And what you do is you just pick one of those things every day and you share it on social media so people can hear about coaching. And so that's something that I do now that I didn't do then, because whatever you're sharing the most of on social media is what you're going to attract. So if you're sharing mostly your health and fitness journey, which is great, you want to do that, absolutely. But if that's all you're sharing and it's just recipes and it's just your workout picture and it's just, you know, superfoods and it's just things like that, you're probably only going to attract challengers to you. Versus if you're talking about the business opportunity and what it does for you and what you love about it, and you're showing excitement and how awesome it is, as soon as you start doing that, you're going to start recruiting active coaches so that you can build your team. And that's what you want to do. That's how you build a substantial, you know, successful, thriving business, is by building your team. And that's when I noticed the shift in my business. So that's probably the only change that I made from then until now.
Love it. I kind of like the question that Katie Meserve put up, and I think it goes hand in hand, and that's why I'm skipping down to it instead of just going in order of what people wrote. But so you said, you know, your coach was saying like, oh, don't expect much, yada, yada, yada. And you were like, well, screw that, I need to build this fast.
Right.
I think that's such a good point, like, because you're setting the expectation up for your coaches. And while you don't want to set it up that like, oh, it's just easy, this is quick money and, you know, everybody's going to sign up right now, you also don't want to tell your coaches not to just go for it. But this was Katie's question. How the hell did you go diamond in 11 days? That was her question.
I talked to a lot of people, guys. Like, I literally, when they say invite, and you hear, you know, oh, invite 3 people every day. I mean, I was inviting 40 people a day. I mean, I was, whatever they tell you to do, I was like quadrupling that number. It's a numbers game. The more people you talk to, the more yeses you're going to get. You're going to get way more no's, but with every no means that you're going to get a yes. So I had said before at the beginning that I kind of dragged my feet, right, for 3 months before I became a coach, because we thought this was like a scam and a pyramid scheme and all that. But I had kind of planted the seed in one of my friends' ear about this. She was my college roommate, and she was the person who told me about P90X and got me started on that like 7 or 8 years ago, like the original one. And so before I became a coach and actually signed up, I was like, her name was Daryl, and she's not a coach anymore. But I said to her, oh my gosh, I'm going to become a Beachbody coach. You know, I don't even know what to do or what it is, but it's going to be life-changing. It's going to be awesome. We're going to go to the top of this thing, and you're going to do it with me. And she just looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, I haven't signed up yet, but when I do, you are. And so she signed up when I signed up, and she was my very first active coach. So I had her on one leg. And she's always been into health and fitness, so she was really good. She was my second diamond on the team. And then I signed up my husband right away. He was one of the first people. And because I was inviting so much every day, it was diamond. I mean, people overthink it. It's easy to get to diamond. I think it's very easy to get to diamond. It's easy. You have a spouse account, so I just put the 4 on each leg. I got my husband to emerald, and then my active coach, Daryl, had 2 people, and it was like, boom, diamond. Don't overthink it. You just gotta if any of you are looking to become a diamond coach, like, just make it happen. Like, sit down one night and be like, all right, this is going down.
It's absolutely true. I mean, that's like the best advice that you can give to anybody. And it seems so simple and like, oh, well, she's not really like telling me how she did it. She's actually really telling you what she did. She just talked to more people every single day. And, that's a piece of advice I give all the time, where it's like, it's not just 5 people a day, guys. Like, if you want to leave your job, if you want to replace your income, if you want to get out of debt, go on trips, like whatever, or just have what you want to build this fast. You just gotta talk to as many people as you possibly can in the time that you have.
Right. And I mean, I was crazy, and I also was really obsessed with it. Like, I love it so much that I wanted to do it like all the time. So when the kids went to bed, because people are like, oh, you're a stay-at-home mom, you work on this all day long. No, that I have made sacrifices. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, along the way, you can't do anything awesome without making sacrifices, right? But the one thing I never sacrificed was the time with the kids. And so my work time was now. Like, I was exhausted at the end of every single day. I just wanted to go to bed, but I had no choice. It was either go to sleep and not change my situation and go back to work, or sit down and like buckle down and make this happen, because no one was going to do it for me. And so I wouldn't go to bed until like I would get a yes from someone. Like, I feel like I'm not going to sleep until somebody tells me if they want to do this. And it really is just like talking to more people. It's more time more people. That's it. I never did anything else besides just literally talk to people. Like I didn't focus on trainings. I didn't focus on how to grow a like page. I didn't get caught up in like side conversations with people. It was just like talking to people behind the scenes every day. That's how it happened.
1,000%.
Yep.
Exactly how I did it too.
Yep.
So Lindsay asked a couple questions over here. She said, out of everything you do to work your biz, what's number one task or checklist item that is non-negotiable for you? And then later on, she said, there are no secrets to this biz, but if you had only 1 minute to give advice to other coaches, what would you say? And I think you probably just answered with what you just said. So, I mean, you can answer if you want, but
I'll clear it up a little bit. It all boils down to Success Club, guys. It's very basic. It really is. But I mean, I remember when I first became a coach, you know, my upline coach, Keith Callahan, I'm sure you guys have heard of him. He's one of my upline coaches. He did the Coach Basics training that I was part of. And I remember him saying, listen, if you want to build a business that's going to change your life, then you are going to make the 3 vital behaviors non-negotiable every single day, no matter what. You're going to hit Success Club 10 every single month, no matter what. And you're going to bring on active coaches every single month to build your team, no matter what. And so, I mean, I didn't question it. I mean, when you're hearing things from other leaders in the company, or, you know, you're a leader or whatever, don't question it. Just do it. Like if they're having success and they're successful and you want to be where they are, don't try to like reinvent the wheel or do anything differently. And that's what I did. I took his advice and I was like, all right. And so every single month, I had it written down in my notebook. I will not miss a month of Success Club 10. It's been like 26 months now, Success Club 10 minimum, and I will not miss it because I know it's that important. And if you look at any other successful coach or leader in the business, there's not one of them that has not been consistent with hitting Success Club, because it is the backbone of your business. You can't be in and out of it, or your business is going to be inconsistent in and out. So I would say Success Club 10 if you're looking to build a big business. And Success Club 5, I tell my coaches, if this is more of a hobby for you, you're looking to maybe get your shake covered, earn a little bit of extra money to go on vacations maybe, help contribute to the household, Success Club 5. But it can't be like SC2. It has got to be. I mean, and those are just the bare bone minimums too. Like you can go above and beyond.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to actually skip that question for now. How did you manage your time being a full-time mommy while your hubby was at work? How did you stay consistent with follow-ups? So I guess a little bit more about your schedule.
Yeah. It was a total shit show, guys. I mean, it still is. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it was the busiest time of my life when I became a coach, and it's even busier now. It's like I've never been so busy. It's crazy. My husband, at the time when I first started, he was working in the office 2 or 3 days a week, and then was working from home the other few days, which is nice when he's home, because then it's just nice to have somebody else here, even though he's on conference calls all day. So basically, I didn't do any housework. Like I got to the point where it was like when the kids would go down for their naps, I had like 2 choices, and my husband was in agreement with me. It's either I can sit here and like clean the house, or I can use that time to actually invite and make some money, which is what I needed to do. Like the cleaning in the house can wait. I mean, you can live in the disaster area temporarily to build the business. You only have so much time in the day. And so it's like the kids would be up all night long. They still are. It's hell. They wake up at 5:30 in the morning, and I couldn't work until nap time, and sometimes nap time wouldn't happen. And then my husband would come home, we'd do dinner, we'd do all that. I left all the house stuff to my husband. And what we did was every single night when the kids would go to bed at like 7:30, whenever they went, 7:38, you just never know. He would come down and he would clean the whole house up, the tornado that it was. And I would sit down and I would invite. And I drank a lot of coffee. And it still is really hard for me, guys. I mean, I would much rather be just flopped on the couch right now watching TV, or just in bed sleeping for once in my life. But no one's going to do the work for you. And you have to think, how bad do you want it? And for me, my why and my purpose for doing this was my kids. If I gave up on that, it'd be like basically me saying, it's not worth it for me to do this, to stay at home with you, just whatever. And everybody's dream and goal is different. Some people want to be stay-at-home moms. Some people could never do it. There's no right or wrong answer. But for me, it was like I had to make this happen. And so it was a lot of self-discipline because it was nighttime hours that I'm working, and I still am working nighttime hours. But it was a lot of self-discipline. It was a lot of just doing those vital behaviors and being consistent and being committed and knowing that if I just continued to do these small things now, even though I wasn't really seeing much of anything happen that day or right away, that it would pay off. And it absolutely is. And also when you're making these temporary sacrifices, guys, like I'm not, wasn't watching all my like Homeland and all like Walking Dead anymore. It's just temporary sacrifices. It's not things that you need to give up for the rest of your life. And it's absolutely worth it.
So do you, let's start here. What is your best introductory message you use to start building relationships with new Facebook friends? And I think that actually goes with another question down here too, that was like, what is your approach to reaching out to your cold market or people you don't know personally that have never liked your posts? So we could probably lump those together.
Yeah. So I spend a lot of time like paying attention to what people are posting on Facebook, and I spend a lot of time like I'll like their pictures or I'll comment on their photos, or if I see a picture of something that they posted that I can kind of connect with and start a conversation with, I will just send them a private message about it. If I see that they're like a stay-at-home mom, I'll start up a conversation about that. I mean, I like to talk. I'm really sociable. So, I mean, I can pretty much turn anything into a conversation. So I just kind of look for those small things and just really focus on like getting to be a friend with these people, because it's a relationship building business. You can't be thinking like, oh my God, I need to get my Success Club points and get a challenge pack, because that's not going to work. I honestly never think about challenge pack sales, Success Club points. I know in the back of my mind, I'm going to hit it at the end of every month. And I just go into every conversation with literally being just my authentic self, imagining that I'm sitting like at my own kitchen counter right here, talking to them, reading it out loud to yourself and asking yourself, like, would I really say this to somebody like in person, to my friend, or does this not sound like me? Just being yourself. And then my invite to like a challenge group is just like really simple. I basically just say, I'm not sure if you're looking for help at all with your health and fitness, but if you were, I wanted to let you know that my team is going to be running a 21-day support and accountability group that's kicking off on Monday. I still have room for 2 more people. It's what got me to lose 35 pounds after having both my kids. I love it. Would you be interested in hearing more about it? That's pretty much it. And I send that same message to everybody. I always say I have limited space, and I always say it kicks off next Monday, even if it doesn't.
What if it doesn't, Kathi?
But what if it doesn't? And then if I have enough people, then I'll stop them.
So, okay, hold on, let me go back up.
And I really do think like, I never feel like I'm bothering people. If you feel like you're bothering people, guys, then you're really literally doing people a disservice. You are. I mean, you have to think about it as you have something that can change someone's life, whether it's health, fitness, financial, emotional, whatever it is. You have something that can change their life, and it's not up to us to decide whether or not this is or isn't for them. It's our job to present it to as many people as possible and let it be up to them to decide if it is or isn't. But by you keeping it back and not wanting to share this with them and help them, you are literally doing them a disservice. And that's the way that you need to look at it when you approach all the conversations. And I also feel by saying like, I'm not sure if you're looking for help with your health and fitness, it's not implying that they're looking for help. It's just asking them a question. And there's nothing wrong with asking people if they need help, because everybody needs help.
All right. Do you run any free groups? If so, any others besides clean eating groups? Do you find them effective?
Yeah, I think free clean eating groups any free groups are really important in building relationships. That's the whole reason why you run them. You might not get somebody to sign up right away for your next challenge, and that's okay. But it's building new relationships with people who are now gaining trust in you, They're seeing what this whole challenge group thing is about. They're seeing how awesome it is to be in a group with people, and it's building your credibility. So I do like a free 7-day clean eating group. I have a couple different versions of like a 5-day crock pot group that I usually run starting in October. We're kicking off a brand new grilling group this Monday, I think it is, a clean eating grilling group. So I think that they are really important to do because they do bring new people to you. And like I said, it's all about building relationships. So the more that you can build, the better.
Sorry, I'm just going to mute the person.
That's okay.
All right. Okay. So how many people on average do you recruit a month?
Let's see. Probably about 6 a month. And they most likely are like, I try hard to try to get, I try to get challengers, but because now I'm so consistent with talking about coaching, and because I've been doing it now for 2 years, like people know that this is a serious thing. It takes time to build up that credibility. So most of the people now that I bring in are people who want to build a business, which is awesome. They don't always last, most of them, but that's okay. But those are the people now that are drawn to me. So yeah, it's about, the average is about 6 a month. We need to get that number up more, Joan.
I know we do, but at the same time, you know what? I would say that's probably me too, is anywhere from 6 to 8 people a month.
Yep.
And if you look at that and you look at, where the two of us are, it's not some crazy ass thing where you have to go make SE.
Yeah. It's really not. We kind of figured it out. Like my husband and I did like a while ago, we kind of figured out, we told our team that like, if you're looking to hit Success Club 5 every month, it basically boils down to you inviting 5 people every single day of the month. Like if you want to hit Success Club 5, then you have to invite religiously 5 people every single day. If you want to hit Success Club 10, the numbers work out to 10 invites every single day. You might miss a couple days and maybe you double up or something, but that's what it averages out to. So whatever number you want to hit, however, is how many invites that you should be doing. And it can't be like on weekends. It's got to be every day.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of I'm not going to do it today, but I'll reach out to like 30 people on, Saturday morning thing. Because Saturday morning comes and then something comes up and you don't get to your 30 people.
I know.
That keeps happening, and then that keeps happening, and that keeps happening. And then all of a sudden you're like, I have no idea why I'm not hitting Success Club. And it's because you're not putting the work in. But if
it's definitely, like, I know. Every coach on my team, and if they're struggling and they haven't hit Success Club, they are honest with me and they say, I'm not inviting. Like, I'm not being consistent with the vital behaviors. It's not rocket science,
Really isn't. And it is that easy too. So it's just, if you could wake up 30 minutes earlier so that you can send out 5 new invites for the day, that's the difference between you continuing to be where you're at and you being where you want to be in your life, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So what are the top 3 tips you would give a brand new coach just getting started?
Okay, brand new coaches. All right. Brand new coaches. I would say first of all, know where you want to go with this. Like, know your why. Your why has to be, it's going to be the one thing that drives you. So you have to know why you're in this. So I would say your why. I would say make sure that you make the 3 vital behaviors non-negotiable, and that you focus on hitting Success Club. And don't look around at anybody else. Don't get distracted by anything else going on. Don't get distracted by workout videos people are doing and this fancy picture this person's doing. None of that stuff grows your business, guys. It's all behind the scenes, you connecting and talking to people. That's all you should focus on. If there's one thing that's going to build your business and grow your team, guys, it's talking to people, period. So just focus on that. And that's what I would recommend.
I love that. And, you know, we had Megan Eggleston on the call last week, and she was talking about how you can get really caught up in looking at like what other people are doing and thinking that it's working because they're successful coaches. But, you know, really it isn't. It has nothing to do with like that stuff. It's the behind the scenes work that's making it successful. So they could put a post up that you're like, wow, that's really salesy and I would never do that, but I guess it works for them. And then like you change the whole brand and start doing that, and it doesn't work.
Yeah. So, and I really think too, like one of the reasons why I was able to grow so fast, so quickly is because I was never one of those coaches that was like stalking other people's walls and stuff in the network. I literally never did that. I just did my thing. I was like, okay, Keith told me to invite and do the vital behaviors and hit Success Club. Like, all right, that's my mission every night. Like I didn't have time when the kids went to bed to be looking at other people's things. And so you want to just be yourself. It's the one business in the world where you can be yourself. Just be yourself, and it works.
Exactly. So you grew such a successful business team in such a short amount of time. What is your biggest tip on how you got everyone started right and kept track of everyone to keep them engaged, making sure you were available to help them all? So how did you track everybody, get them all started, keep them engaged, stay on top of them? What did you do?
Guys, I'm wicked unorganized, first of all. Like, out of control, unorganized, really unorganized. Like my husband can't even believe that I was able to do what I've done being so unorganized. But it just goes to show you, you don't need to have these systems, which is another thing that you can get caught up in, these fancy planners and blah, 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 blah. You just got to do what works for you. Anyways, I basically kept track of everything in a 5-subject notebook. That's just what works for me. I'm super old school. I like to write everything down. I like to cross things off. So I have a 5-subject notebook, and I write down all my active coaches are in there. My husband also keeps them in Excel for me because he's like the computer guy. But I keep them all in my notebook. I keep a whole section of like all my invites, you know, challenge groups, all that stuff is all in there. And then because it did grow so fast, like I definitely did struggle. Like at first, when I first became a coach, it was like always me behind the computer, like inviting. And then all of a sudden I had this team and I was like, oh my God. So then it kind of shifted a little bit. Then I had to start, you know, I do the weekly team calls for them, just like you guys do. And I would do one-on-one calls with them every single month for them to schedule with me so we could talk about their goals and what they're struggling with. And I still do that. I do like acuity scheduling, and it's totally up to them if they want to schedule a call with me. Like I don't force anybody to do it. Because it's their business, and if they need help and they need suggestions or they have anything they're struggling with, they know where to find me. So I do have that available. But they always say spend 80% of your time focusing on you growing your business. So you're out there inviting, recruiting new active coaches, and 20% on the coaches on your team. Some people put all their time and energy into like the couple coaches they have, and then they stop inviting and they stop recruiting. So you don't want to do that. Have the things in place to get them started right. Let them know that you're there for them, but they have to realize too that they're an entrepreneur, and that if they want it, they got to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. This question comes from Ryan Crocker. He says, obviously supportive and a very successful business owner and entrepreneur in his own right. Was he on board in the beginning? How about now? Did you sign him up right away? What is your best piece of advice for those with spouses supportive or not yet there? Is patience the key, or are there things you can involve them in to help move that needle? Does he assist you with the business? If so, how? What tasks does he do to remove them from your plate so you can just concentrate on making it rain? It's a long question.
Holy moly, Ryan. That was a loaded question. We're going to have to repeat that sucker as I go. Anyway.
Basically,
my husband was the biggest skeptic I have ever met in my entire life when he heard about this, which is why I didn't sign up right away, because I was thinking, well, I mean, he's the one with the MBA. He's the one running 4 businesses. I was just a first grade school teacher. I mean, he must know what he's talking about. Clearly he didn't. So he, but no, he didn't understand how the business worked, which is why he didn't support it right away. And I literally remember him saying to me, like the first couple of days I signed up, so do you really think you're going to be able to like sign people up doing this? And I was like, yeah, like I'm going all the way with this. I knew I was going all the way even back then. And plus I wanted to prove him wrong. So no, he was not on board at all. He never gave me like a hard time for working on this at night. He knew I was serious about it. I was trying to do something to stay at home with the kids still. And that was something we both wanted. So he wasn't like, get off the computer, like da 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 da. And then he wanted to see like, guys are like facts. Like, you know, he didn't want to hear all this like, rah, 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 like Beachbody coaching, it's the best, it can change your life. Like he wanted to know like, all right, what's the potential, like what's the amount of money here that you can really earn? How do you get there? What's the compensation plan? So he spent a lot of time diving into all of that. Like he took the time out on his own and like knows the compensation plan upside down and inside out. And the fastest way to basically get your spouse on board is to start earning money. Once I started earning money, because I was like doing those daily vital behaviors, like it's not just going to come land on your doorstep, you know? Once he started to see that income come in, he was like, oh, like you can actually earn some money. And then I was earning more. And then all of a sudden, like at 7 months in, it was like, oh my God, like if you're matching your teacher salary. Then he really started to believe. He's like, we can go all the way with this thing. Like I can retire from my job one day. But it took some time. And at the beginning, when he first got on board doing stuff for me, helping me out, basically his idea was, let me do whatever I can to free up your time from all like the busy work so that you can spend more time talking to people. Because like I said earlier, talking to people, it's the one thing that's going to grow your business. That's it. It's not the blog. It's not anything else that you think it might be. It is talking to people behind the scenes, private messages and stuff. And so he started slowly doing like my Success Club leaderboards for me and my team page. He started doing like the cover photos for me. He started, what else did you do at the beginning? I don't even remember. He slowly started to do that stuff. And then it grew into then once we started earning like 6 figures and really doing well with this. And we were like, all right, let's like hustle here so that we can get him out of his job. We sat down every night and we worked together now basically. And he's in charge of like all my Coach Basics training. So he'll like get it all up into Postcron, all my challenge groups. He gets all the posts uploaded into Postcron for me. Free groups, challenge groups, Coach Basics trainings, the blitzes. Basically, he does all that stuff. He does all the back end stuff, all that business stuff. He tells me exactly, he's a numbers person. He's really good at knowing exactly where to place people to maximize out your volume and your cycle so you can earn the most amount of money possible. So he will tell me exactly where to place the next person. And so basically he does all of that. And I do all the people. I recruit, I train them, I get them going. I think he's only ever signed up one person in the past 2 years, and he messaged the person and he turned bright red and he ran away from the computer. The people part isn't his thing, but the whole business end, he loves that because he's an entrepreneur at heart. Like this is what he's been wanting, you know? And this is doing way better than any business he's ever earned. So he's like super excited. He's like, who would have ever thought you would have been the entrepreneur in the family? I'm like, not me. What else was on that question? I know I missed some stuff.
You got most of it. Hold on. What, right? Yeah, that was pretty much it. No, I think you got it, dude.
Oh, well, advice for like spouses or something like that. I think it said in there.
I think that was the other one. No, you already said that.
Did I say that? Okay, yeah. And also to be on board, like communication and coming up with a game plan of when you're going to actually work this business, you know what I mean? And making sure that your spouse knows and is okay with it. Like if you have a team call, like right now you're going to be on, that you don't just lay it on them when they come home from work, like, oh, sorry, like I'm not going to be able to put the kids to bed or do whatever tonight because now I got this. Making sure there's a clear plan in place. Like right now we have our date nights. Like we work every night of the week, but on Saturday nights, it's our date nights. And whether we go out or stay in, it doesn't matter. That's like our date night time. But every other night, I work.
Okay. Lindsay just said, before you left your job, did you post about leaving your job? Were you worried to post about how you wanted to leave your job? Well, she was already not working, right?
Yeah, when I had actually stopped teaching, I had already been home for, 20, like almost 2 years before somebody told me about coaching. So at that point I had already like totally resigned from teaching. Like they knew I wasn't coming back like at all. Yeah, so I didn't have to worry about posting or any of that.
What is your, hold on here. How do you recruit active coaches? I think you've talked about this a little bit, but
yeah.
More tips.
So
I think that's something everybody always asks.
yeah,
Just ask over.
it really, yeah. I mean, finding active coaches is obviously harder than getting challengers because they're more rare, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist. But they only exist if you go out there and look for them. And so a couple of things that I do when I started to notice like the shift in my business was when I started talking about coaching more. And I know I've said like before, I think on a bunch of other calls, I might have even said it to you at one point, Joan, but it was when I listened to Bonnie Engel's call where she talked about how she overcomes objections publicly on her wall and how it's kind of like a little sneak peek like that. I don't run my wall like hers. It looks nothing like it, but that was probably the best piece of advice I've ever heard since becoming a coach. It was like genius. When you're talking to people and they give you an objection, why not turn it into a post on your wall, right? And answer it publicly for other people to see. Because if that person has that objection about them not thinking they have enough time for this, then other people do. And so I do the same thing, and I turn it into a story and I relate it back to myself of how I thought the same thing. Because I thought I didn't have any time. I didn't think anybody would listen to me either because I was 35 pounds overweight. I had all these objections myself. And so I relate it back to myself and how I overcame it to show other people that, yes, they can do it. So one way, and it takes time, like I said, is by making sure that you're sharing things about coaching every single day. You have to talk about coaching in some way every single day so that people know that you're actually a coach. Like when people look at your wall, do people know that you're a coach and that you're an entrepreneur and that you're running your own business? Or do you just look like someone who's just into health and fitness? There's a big difference. I have a lot of friends who aren't coaches who like to post their workouts and they like to post food recipes because they're into that, but they're not coaches. They would probably make awesome ones, but they're not. You want people to look at your wall and know that you're an entrepreneur, that you're running your own business. So that's one way. The next way is to always ask your challengers. And that's what I do. So any challenger that I have, whether they're inactive in the system, active, whatever, it doesn't matter. I ask every single person if they would ever be interested in learning about what I do as a coach and becoming a coach on the team and earning an income and possibly getting their shakes covered and that. I approach it that way. I keep a close eye out in our challenge groups for challengers who are really engaging in there a lot, who are motivating, inspiring, people who are really loving the programs and the products, who are seeing great results. I will just come out and tell them, listen, you're getting awesome results, or I love how motivating you are in the group. Have you ever considered hearing more about what I do as a coach? You'd be awesome at it. Just simply saying a one-line thing like that does wonders. And you'll be surprised with how many people tell you, yes, they want to hear more about it. And the third way is to always take advantage of whatever kind of business opportunity, what am I thinking? Like webinar, coach sneak peeks, blitzes, things like that. Whatever your upline has available, never let one of those go by where you do not plug in people. That's how I built my team so fast. In that 1 year, I wasn't even running the coach sneak peeks. Elizabeth Harkey was running them. She was running them 5-day coach sneak peeks twice a month. And I always plugged people into them. And I would plug in like 30 people because it's a numbers game, guys. If you plug in like 10 people into like a blitz, for example, chances are you're probably going to get like only 1, maybe 2 people who are going to become an active coach. Whereas if you're only plugging in 1 person, they're probably not going to become a coach. It's a numbers game. So I tell my coaches, always plug in at least 10. Never let one of those opportunities go by that you're not taking advantage of it. And that's what grows your business. And the work is already done for you in those blitzes. All you have to do is invite people to it. So it's so simple. and it's the best way to get the information across to the next person. So those 3 ways are the ways that I recruit for active coaches. I do kind of keep a close eye. Like when I'm adding to my network, I do kind of look at the pictures and look at the people and think like, oh, this person would make an awesome active coach, I think. And I write their name down in my notebook. And this will be someone that I now like start to build a relationship with, or invite them to my next blitz when we run them.
Love it. All right, so I think we've been on here for a while, and I don't want to keep her all night because she can build her business. So does anybody else have one final question before we go, or are we good? Because I think I got everything. I know some people wrote in here, can we be part of your grilling group? But instead, would you be willing just to like share your template?
Yeah, well, definitely. I'll definitely send you over the template. I think it's pretty much almost done. I think we have like an ebook for it, right, Nick? Yeah, Nick's working on an ebook for it. So.
Ebook.
Nick he's all into this. He does like the ebooks for all this.
Fancy.
He's fancy schmancy over here.
I want your crock pot one too.
Yeah, I'll send them over. I have like 2 or 3.
I don't have a crock pot. I'm gonna have to go buy.
You don't have a crock pot? Oh my God, Joan! I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you so much. You guys see why we love her so much and why she's grown so quickly. And I mean, like, honestly, everything that you say, it's the same stuff that I say. It's the same stuff that every successful coach says. That people keep looking for like this little secret thing that somebody's not telling them as to why, you know, their business grew fast. And it's literally just putting in the work, you guys, talk to as many people as possible and keeping your blinders on. And like, that's so Success Club really is the key. Like, I mean, I've been in Success Club 10 for what, 34 months? Above, like 10 or above for 34 months.
Yep.
That's what it takes. Continues to grow.
Yep. That's all you got to do. You got to invite every single day, hit Success Club every single month, and make those things non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm. So rock on. Thank you so much, you guys. I did start recording this just towards the end of you, like, you know, introducing yourself.
That's okay. Thank you so much for having me. Your team is awesome.
Thank you. We love you guys, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Well, I'll see you at Leadership. But
yes, I can't wait. I'm so excited.
No, I'm really pumped too. You registered today, right?
Oh, yes, I registered. Okay. Thank goodness.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.
Guys.
Bye.
Recording and meeting.